What is up, YouTube? How you doing? This is Dave here. We're back finally after quite a while of not doing videos. Quite a few reasons for that. The main being I just really been working too much, and believe it or not, I needed a break from working on the car. Had some issues. I just, long story short, could not seem to get the job done doing remote tuning. So I found myself another person, extremely helpful. Big shout out to Sesame Street Racing and Jay Posner. He's helped me a lot over the last couple of months, and we're actually going to be, well, for lack of a better, we're going a little off the deep end with this build now. He's about an hour 15 away from where I currently am. He's going to help me with getting this thing sorted out, but not before, like I said, going slightly off the deep end. He works heavily with Crawford Racing. And we got myself what is this? A Lunati Boostmaster cam. I am a big fan of Lunati cams. I've used them for quite a few years. They make a very quality product. At least, you know, I think they were bought out by Comp Cams, but I've never had an issue with them. And also to support that, we obviously have the necessary supporting mods. Valve springs from BTR, got the front 3-bolt cam gear, we got push rods and associated gaskets. So I am good to go on that front. We're going off the deep end, folks. Like I said, couldn't seem to get the tunes sorted out with this. It's quite complicated doing on this particular car, the 16s and 17s, there's a little bit of weirdness in the operating system. To get the stock LS3 cam tuned in, you really should have somebody who can get their hands on it. I did not have that at this point. I was planning on camming the car anyway, so I said, to hell with it, let's just do it, get it done, so I'm not spending more money than I necessarily need to. So, we got the hood open. We're ready to get down to business. Stay tuned. I got a few surprises along the way, but I don't know about you. I'm pretty damn excited. Stay with us. Thanks. Okay, guys, so we're, pardon me here, getting more of the engine stripped down. Sorry if the light's in a weird spot, but you can see, and let me see if I can do this in a way that doesn't blind you. So I've got the lower radiator hose off. It actually worked out really well. As long as you drain it properly, you can just pull it right off, and then I just ended up zip tying it to the fan, I guess the fan shroud, for lack of a better word. That drained most of it out here. I pulled off most of the accessory drive on the front. I got a few other little things. I ended up separating from the water pump. I took the throttle body off just because it's a hell of a lot easier to get that top radiator hose off to do that. And then I pulled it off the radiator right here. I'm going to zip tie. You can see I'm using a lot of gloves to basically zip tie it around stuff so I don't get any residual leakage. But we're good down on the bottom there. I just got to detach this upper piece right here. Shouldn't be any real big leaking. Just push this hose out of the way. I didn't want to break it down there at the cooler. Surprisingly, broke the trans-cooler lines down here, and only a very little bit fell out. So I'm actually very happy with what happened there. So let's keep tearing down, and pretty soon we'll have this whole coolant system taken out, and we'll move on to the next part. Thanks, guys. All right, guys, we are back. We're still making progress. Stripping away the engine further and further. Radiator's out. Most of the front end of the engine is off. I'm just methodically taking stuff apart so I remember how to put the damn stuff together. I got the alternator kind of propped up out of the way to get out of the way of the timing cover. I'm going to pull the rest of the water pump off tomorrow, and I'm going to just kind of put it in a trash bag, wrap it up into a plastic bag, and kind of push it off to the side here. So I just like lay it up over in this area to keep it out of the way. Then I don't have to break those lines right there. I could, we'll see, maybe I will, but at this point you can see here I got the blower drive bolt I got to take out. There's a few odds and ends I still got to do on this, but for now I'm pretty happy with it. You can see I had to only break a couple trans lines. Not sure if I mentioned that, just the one line here and then the one line there. The other one stays inside the car. Didn't really lose too much fluid, so I'm not worried about firing the thing up and driving it a short distance if I absolutely have to. But worst case scenario, when I get it for tuning, I'll have it topped off, or maybe I'll take it to the dealership and get it flush. But I took the, like I mentioned before, I took the throttle body off, just allowed me easier access to here. But yeah, guys, let me just spin her around here. We're making a lot of progress. I'm pretty happy with how things are going. A little bit of a slow start, but I'm not spilling stuff all over. Feeling pretty good. Got a couple of pulleys I need to take off tomorrow. Water pump will come off, like I said. I already pulled the balancer bolt. Yeah, by the way, best couple $100 I've ever spent. The thing is a goddamn beast. 600 foot-pounds of torque. So it had no problem breaking loose the, where is it? I got it around here somewhere. It's sitting over there, my ARP bolt. And yes, I will use that to put it back on too. I will drive it home and watch it turn a little bit because I don't feel like getting out of the car and holding it in place, but it'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. I've done it before. No issue there. Other than that, guys, we're rocking and rolling, man. We're getting there. Keep hanging on, man. Pretty soon, hopefully, I'm doing this over several periods of days, but the way you guys are seeing it is probably a 20-minute video. So what I'm going to try to do is edit it to the point where it's bearable. But hopefully you'll learn something good out of doing this. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to keep trucking along. Continuing the tear down, you can see I have the one bolt out of the alternator, a couple bolts out of the alternator, kind of pushed to the side to clear around the timing cover. Should be easy enough to get that off. I'm just kind of looking down there, seeing where the tabs are. Might be a little different. I might have to take the full alternator bracket off. And just kind of like angle it out of the way for now. It's not the end of the world. I'll be able to do that and then kind of just, angle it out. It does have a bracket on the back of it that I'm not going to touch for right now. Everything's a little wet. Bouncer's a little wet. I did clear off as much as I could. I got to get a little bit more drying down in there. But I got most of the pulleys and everything off so I can get the timing cover up and out of the way. So let's get that bouncer off and get down to business. Because I think at this point, once we get that done, I'm going to get in, pull the valve covers off, loosen up the rocker arms, get the push rods out, and then I'm going to have to go and get myself some dowels so that I can actually, make sure that the lifters don't fall down into the tray. Normally, I don't care about that and I don't do it, but this will be the one time when I do that and they all fall down into the tray. So, fall down into the oil pan. So, all right, guys, so I'm at the point now. I've got the everything out, the rockers and old push rods. Everything's out, just sitting here, hanging out. I've stumbled into a little issue here with this fitting. It's basically, it's like a compression tester, but it has the little stinger pulled out of it. And you're supposed to be able to just thread this into the spark plug hole, and it should be able to hold your pistons up. I'm sorry, pistons, Jesus. Hold your valves up. But I can't get this thing threaded into the head easily, even on like a straight shot, like what you would have right here on cylinder 1. I'm really struggling to get it in there. I did it on an L92 head that I had laying around here somewhere. This guy here that was in this box, and also insanely difficult to do, even with the thing right in front of my face. So what I'm going to end up doing now, you can see in the previous shot here, I have... the cam's ready to go. I have everything lined up. I don't know if you can see it too well. Let me just adjust the light here a little bit for you. But the dots are lined up. So you can see the dot right... Oh, man, it's hard to get that in there. Okay, see the dot right there? See if I can focus it. There's the first dot. Here's the second dot. If the cam does not go in right, you'll know it. You can see how it's like more slack taken up on this side of the engine. Sorry, let me just get this to focus. This thing is stinking at auto-focusing right now. But you can see there's more slack here. So what we would end up doing is I'm going to pull this bolt out, slide the whole thing forward. This will all slide out, and then I'll be able to pull this off. You can see that there's like the pin right there. So as long as I'm at like 3 o'clock, this will go on. And if I'm a tooth off, I'll know it. So I'll be able to go one way or the other. All right? So they say necessity is the mother of invention. Well, I decided to utilize a chopstick. I had some of these in my house. What I ended up doing was putting it through the spark plug hole and feeling the piston move it up and down to the point where it started to pinch it at the end. And that's basically top dead center. So I made sure that it was up to a certain point, felt it a little bit to make sure I couldn't move it anymore. Once it kind of like froze it, now you can see, I just didn't feel like screwing around anymore, but now you can see, like this, it is pretty incredible, the piston to valve clearance. Like you feel this one goes a little bit, but this is very, very close here. This is a little bit more, but anyhow, we're good to go. And I think I probably blocked that going in there, but you can see they aren't falling anywhere. So I got the seals off and everything. I want to go over to this box. You can see parts here. Here's the seats, valve seats. Here's the top of the valve caps here. Here's all the new seals. Sorry, hard to do this with. Oh, look at that. I didn't even realize it. They give you new retainers also. Shit, that's sweet. So, and then here's the valve stem seals they give. So I got these guys. I'm going to put brand new ones on. And I purposely got a new tool. Let me find it in this mess here. I know it's here. It's staring right at me. Where did it go? Right here. All right. This is your valves. This is your valve seal install tool. It's very simple. I'll show you how to use it in a minute. But let's get down to business and we start opening some of these up, and then we'll get right back to actually installing this. Okay. Alrighty. So we are back here, and I've let these push rods soak. Not that it really matters all that much, but I had some leftover oil from my old Rotella containers that actually never got put in the car. Just extra drain. Filled this up, let them soak. Rockers are still soaked. So you can see I got a clear shot here to both sides of the engine. All the valve springs are done. Like I had mentioned before, front cover's back on. Water pump is back on. Some of the pulleys are back on. So I'm just going to keep banging through this. Let's get these push rods in. Let's get the rockers back on. And let's get these valve covers back in place. I just realized I still have to order... the damn spark plugs. And there was something else that I still have to do. But I'll remember that when it's like the last thing and I'm trying to fire the car up. So... Okay, guys and gals, you can see here we've got the correct belt now on. I had to get a new one. This one is 67 inches long. You had to do a little bit of math there to get it to work out, but because I ended up using the larger, let me see, I don't know, where did I say? Okay, so yeah, you can see the original one I had on there was actually 65.3 inches long. So that really pulled the tensioner over a lot further, but it was because I didn't have the really large overdrive pulley on there. So, I mean, it's not large, it's 5%, but it does make your belt longer. So you do a little bit of math. There's actually a really good tool online that helps with that. But it'll make sure that you have enough belt wrap, and this worked out really nice. I'm pretty happy with the way everything came together. So now it's actually just gonna be final buttoning up. So we've got pretty much everything in where it needs to be. I got the plugs yesterday. I've got coolant over there, so it's time to get this guy back inside the car. And enough yapping. Let's get down to business. Let's get this guy back together. All right? Stay tuned. Oh, boy. Here we go. I've got enough fluid in it, so she should start. But we'll see.